Thank you for tuning in to this episode of what we are now going to reference it as Indie MTG. And I am here with my cohort, Dustin.
Hey, everybody.
Yep. We are going to be doing videos a bit differently. We're going to use this channel to it might be a video with Dustin. It might be a video with me. My name's Ovid, by the way. I know I reference myself as Kenshin107 in a couple other videos, but we're going to go by first names. So that's what you can call us, the good old Ovid and Dustin team. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Dustin today. He is going to be talking about his mono white keyword soup deck.
Yeah, I built the deck a little while ago. It was one of my first monocolor decks I built. Excuse me. But I built it with Odric Lunarch Marshal. He is a 3 and a white legendary human soldier, where at the beginning of each combat, creatures you control gain first strike until end of turn if a creature you control has first strike. The same is true with flying, Death Touch, Double Strike, Haste, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Reach, Skulk, Trample, and Vigilance. This is a commander that you guys can actually get for 40-ish cents. Super cheap. And I remember first building it, and our play group was like, you built mono white that wasn't Angels? How good is this going to be? And it kind of turned a corner. Who would have thought that if you just give everything every keyword, it's kind of good. The key aspect of this deck that kind of went over everybody's head at first was Odric reads each combat. My creatures get all these keywords. So on everybody else's turn, I'm also getting this stuff. So yeah, I'm going to highlight. Ovid and I both are going to highlight a few cards from the deck that kind of put in some work, or they're kind of just unique. The first card I got it's a 1-cost instant called Rebuff the Wicked. And it is a white counter spell and it reads, counter target spell that targets a permanent you control. I think the first time I played it, people were shocked at the fact that I had a white counter. And I think it was actually against Ovid that I did it, and he goes, "What?"
Yeah, I remember jokingly, I was like, and because by the way, I couldn't say tithe for the longest time. I called it teeth. And I was like, what, are you going to mana teeth me? And he goes, nope. And I was like, oh, snap. Well, what's about to come down the pipeline here?
Yeah, so that was a fun one to kind of shock everybody with. And again, this Rebuff the Wicked, it's about $4. But for a 1-drop instant to protect something, it's kind of nice. The next card I have, when you're thinking mono white, keyword salad, keyword soup, whatever you want to call it, Zatalpa, Primal Dawn, is kind of the no-brainer of the deck. It's a 8-drop legendary dinosaur, 4/8 with flying, double strike, vigilance, trample, and indestructible. So every one of my combats, all of my creatures are getting all of that stuff.
Yeah, if you can't figure it out, an 8-drop that just gives you 5 keywords, and one of those being indestructible, it's an insane amount of value. It is definitely a late game play. White is not green, but definitely always keep in mind, guys, that white does not suffer from being able to get lands out either. So it might be one of those later game plays, but if you're building your deck right, I mean, getting it out shouldn't be the biggest problem.
Yeah, it's one of the big things. Mana rocks should be I don't want to say heavily in every deck, but should be prevalent in every deck, especially in colors that don't ramp very well. So you guys may have noticed one of the keywords not on Odric is Myriad, which if you want to close out a game, attacking everybody with something big and stupid like a Zatalpa that has everything on it, kind of important. So I got Legion Loyalty. It's another 8-drop, but it's an enchantment that creatures I control have Myriad. And excuse me, but Zatalpa, it's been printed to oblivion. It's a quarter. Um, and Legion Loyalty also is breaking the bank at 40 cents for the cheapest printings that you can find. But yeah, Legion Loyalty is it's really great. It gives everything I have Myriad when I attack. Um, that really accelerates my game plan, especially in the late game. Again, with that 8 mana cost, that it can kind of help close out a game.
100%. Yeah. Crazy enough, I've never actually seen Legion Loyalty out on the field in a game, I think, with Dustin. But I know just what Myriad, like all of your creatures having Myriad is a game ender, 100%. It's understanding that, um, you're going to swing all of your main creatures at whomever is the weakest player, and then those token copies are going to go at the strongest. So, I mean, it's just an incredible piece. And once again, at 8 mana, it's that late game thing. But if you're consistently meeting your land drops and at least getting a decent amount of ramp, there's no problems I see getting it out by turn 6.
Yeah, so now we're kind of going to get into one of the cards that is another game ender, especially if Zatalpa is already out, or I have a lot of really low cost creatures that have one or multiple keywords on them. And that card is Achroma, Vision of Ixidor. She is one of the more expensive cards in the deck. She comes in at about $8, but she is a 7-drop angel legendary 6/6 with flying, first strike, vigilance, and trample. But she also reads, at the beginning of each combat until end of turn, each other creature you control gets a +1/+1 if it has flying, first strike, double strike, death touch, haste, hexproof, indestructible, lifelink, menace, protection, reach, trample, vigilance, and partner. So pretty much all the keywords that Odric is giving to everything else, now everything is also getting pumped 1 for each keyword that's on it. So I've swung my board at somebody that's over 50 damage, especially when you start including double strike and other things that are going on. And this is a target that gets removed very quickly. But it's one of those that, if you remove this and not Odric, I'm kind of okay with. And that's also where cards like Rebuff the Wicked really come in, where I can protect that board or keep my board there to win.
Yeah, and also, guys, just remembering too, an important thing to remember is she herself has those 4 keywords on her, so you're already getting +4/+4 off of her alone. So if you are adding to that, like once again referencing that, even if you're just adding a simple easy keyword to get like lifelink in white, that's not that hard to find. What's another good reach? I feel like that's probably no. Either way, it's very strong. Realizing that even just that coming out is giving everything flying, first strike, and vigilance and trample. So it's buffing your board. It's putting in the work. It's 100% a game ender.
Yeah. So we're now going to get into one of the 3 planeswalkers I have in the deck. This one is it's a 4 cost, so it's a little bit quicker to get out. But it's Elspeth Knight Errant, which comes in about $5. She comes in with 4 loyalty, and you can uptick 1 to put a 1/1 soldier into play. Now, the 1/1 soldier doesn't have any keywords, but it can very easily attain multiple keywords. She also has another uptick 1 ability that target creature gets +3/+3 in flying till end of turn. So now 1/1 soldier is now a 4/4 flyer on top of anything else that might be going on. But the crazy thing is her ultimate is -8, and it reads, for the rest of the game, artifacts, creatures, enchantments, and lands I control have indestructible. So now I'm not worried about waiting until combat for my stuff to have indestructible. They just have it. I don't have to worry about unless they do a mass exile spell or targeted exile.
Yeah, Elspeth, I mean, just getting that 1/1/1 creature out is just, I mean, as a +1, it's not bad. And then also just understanding that the other +1, there isn't a like mediocre downside one. Like, usually they have like a -3 or a -2 or a -X ability. It has a +1 and a +1, and that secondary +1 is giving you a keyword on top of that. So while it can help you build a board, once you have the board presence, it can also do that thing of pumping something by +3, which could be Odric easily, giving it flying, and then it's giving that to your entire board. That right there in and of itself is giving you so much utility because it's a board builder when it first comes out, if that's what you need, or if it comes out and you're like, man, I need to end a game. It's 4 mana in a game. I mean, once again, you got to realize Moonshaker Cavalry is so much more mana than this, and with your commander out, that's basically kind of, it's not giving you that pump, but it is giving you that flying keyword.
Yeah, and then the last one I have, it's kind of a pet card I have. It goes in a lot of my white decks. And this deck, it's better than just being a pet card. It's Sunscorch Regent. It's a five cost dragon with flying, obviously. It's a 4/3, but the important part that gets overlooked by I know it's been overlooked by our play group before, but it reads, whenever an opponent casts a spell, I put a 1/1 counter on Sunscorch Regent and I gain 1 life. It has been overlooked multiple times in our play group. Sunscorch Regent has gotten into double digits on its power, and I have gained double-digit life from it. So compiling that with all the other keyword stuff that's in the deck, really just it itself has become a targeted removal, which I know a lot of people don't like their stuff getting blown up, but when something like this gets blown up, as opposed to something like my commander or something else, it really helps. Like, go ahead and get the removal out of your hand from other stuff. I got other stuff to do, and this now in our group is becoming a target, especially in the gameplay where Rhystic Study has become as so prevalent. This is a different side of like a Rhystic Study of like, yeah, I'm not drawing cards, but now I'm going to have like a 15 plus flyer that I'm gaining life from also just whenever you cast a spell. So for all you blue lovers out there, white can kind of do it too a little bit in a different method.
Yeah, and I believe if I understand that correctly, it says whenever a player,
An opponent.
Okay, so it says whenever an opponent, but even that alone, I mean, if each player is casting only 1 spell each turn, by the time it gets back to you on that first turn, you have a 7/6 with flying, and you've gained 3 life. And if they don't address that, and the game continues, I mean, you're easily looking at a 10, 11, 12 by that second go around, and you've easily gained another 6, we'll just say another 4 to 6 life easily. And there's been so many games where like life gain doesn't matter. No, life gain does end up mattering at some point, and that easy 6 life, it's not going to matter with commander damage. But how prevalent is creature tokens today? How easy is it to swarm a board? That 6 life it's a difference, and it's on a creature that has easy evasion and is just going to continue to grow. And if Dustin has a full hand, I mean, he can just build an easy board state, give it double strike, and it is going to wreck somebody.
Oh yeah, and especially it's happened before where I'm going against a Spellslinger deck, and they don't think about this being on the board, and they're casting 4 or 5 spells in 1 turn, and it's like, cool, thanks. When it gets back to my turn, this thing is buffed by 7 now in 1 turn cycle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's actually really important to kind of bring up too. Like if you're going against that Spellslinger deck, it is coming back to you, and you're going, thank you. Thank you for being greedy. And also, I kind of want to bring it up too, because it's like realizing that it's a cast trigger and how prevalent treasure tokens are now. It's pretty easy for a player to have a lot of mana and want to cast a lot of spells. So yeah, the thing just puts work in. It's a very good, powerful pet card that I've seen just take over a game.
Yeah, and we've had, Edge of Eternities just came out, and we actually just opened a box of it, and the amount of 1 to 3, 4 cost stuff that's in it is insane.
Mm-hmm.
So especially if somebody is built like making a Edge of Eternities style or themed deck that they got a bunch of 1, 2, 3 drops in, something like this can definitely run away with the game.
Absolutely. With that, we're going to get into the cards that I have picked out of his deck that I think add a lot of interesting value. I'm going to start it off with Danitha Capuchin Paragon. It is 2 and a white for a 2/2 with first strike, vigilance, lifelink, and it has a bottom ability that says Aurora and equipment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. The reason why I chose this card is because this is where a lot of people get stuck in the thing of sometimes like they may read that second part and be like, well, that doesn't do anything with my deck. And it's sometimes understanding that like, hey, just because a card does something additional doesn't inherently make it bad. You look at this and you see it's a 3-drop. It gives first strike, vigilance, and life. Imagine giving that all to your board for 3 mana on every single turn. That is an insane amount of value. I used to be a person that was very skeptical of vigilance, and I have seen vigilance put so much work in, and especially when you're giving it vigilance, first strike, and lifelink, you're talking massive life gain potentials. And if a person blocks and loses their board, you have the potential of losing nothing in exchange.
Yeah, and as far that second ability in the deck, I have some equipments. I know one of the ones I have in there is Mithril Coat, which it's indestructible and it gives something indestructible. Which that cost reduction kind of helps with that. There's a couple of stuff that gets flying mainly. But yeah, that you hit it right on the head. The main reason it's in the deck is it's a 3 mana, 3 keyword.
Yeah, and when you think about it too, like switch your thought process. 3 mana, that's 1 mana for each keyword. That's a pretty good going rate, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And that card is going for 25 cents online, super cheap. And yeah, so if it's something that you're interested in your keyword soup deck, very good. Going to do a lot of work.
It's even a decent if you want to build. It's a legendary, so if you want to build a mono white Voltron deck, she's not bad.
Not bad at all. Next up, I chose Thraben Watcher. It is 2 white for a 2/2. Flying Vigilance, and other non-token creatures you control get +1/+1 and have Vigilance. Now, this already is giving all of your other creatures Vigilance, but what I want to talk about with this one is, like, we know it's keyword soup, right? But this is redundancy. Imagine your commander gets exiled now, right? And so now all your creatures lose all those keywords. If this is on the field, they're not losing Vigilance. And they still are getting pumped by +1/+1. If you have I'm going to throw it out there. If you've given your creatures double strike, I mean, this is insane. You've already pumped them by that +1/+1, and with double strike, I mean, even pumping a 2/2 from that to a 3/3, you're talking an extra 2. You're talking 6 damage over 4 damage. And if you got multiple instances of that, I mean, that's just going to add up drastically. And then just like I said, giving that redundancy of vigilance, it's just allowing so that if you lose your commander, it's actually like it doesn't hurt that bad. And in some cases, it might take the pressure off of your commander. Your commander's not going to get exiled. They're going to exile the thing that's giving a static anthem They're not going to care so much about the vigilance thing, but that's also just part of the trap. Maybe they might be concerned about that because somebody else is going to take care of your commander, and now you've put a low key threat on the board that people are like, well, not only do we have to deal with Odric, we have to deal with Raven Watcher as well.
Yeah, I like the card in the deck. The only downside I have with it is it's a 4-drop with all the other higher mana cost stuff I have. But again, with the mana rocks and stuff that I have that I consistently try to run in most of my decks, Thraben Watcher no problem can come out turn 3, turn 2 sometimes. If it gets really dumb, but typically at that point I want to get my commander out even faster.
Yep. And this card is currently going for 20 cents on mine. So super cheap, and it's going to put in a lot of work for a deck if you choose to go this route. Next up, I chose one of my favorite cards from All Will Be One. That's going to be Jawbone Duelist. What a savage name for a card. And then also, I want to read the flavor text for you. I have room for a few more teeth in my collection. Who's next? Dang.
That's just metal.
Yeah, you are savage, bro. It's a 2-drop, and it's a 1/1. So immediately you got those, like, I'm a bad brother kind of vibes, and he's not. He's not that intimidating. But wait, he's 1 and a white for a 1/1 with double strike. That's right. A 2-drop with double strike, and then on top of that, he's got Toxic 1. Have I ever seen Dustin win a game off of Toxic 1? I don't think so, but I will actually say this. This is one thing that I will attest to. I have seen this card get removed. I don't know how many times, because do you know how many times people go, oh no, that has Toxic 1, and it's hit me 5 times now. Well, not 5, but I think he's definitely gotten 3 times. And you're talking, because here's an important thing that you have to remember. Double strike means it's going to deal the damage. It's like first strike, right? So it's going to hit first, deal the damage, deal 1 poison counter, and then it's going to come back again and hit again, and then deal an additional poison counter. So not only is now he's giving his entire board double strike, he's also applying pressure on the weakest, the strongest. If they don't have reach or flyers, and he's given this evasion, it is pushing mad aggro. And then I also want to talk about another thing, and it's the word that I just said. It's aggro. It's a 2-drop. I've also seen him get it out on turn 2, and he's pushing mad aggro. And why is that important? This is kind of a thing that I think a lot of people overlook. This means that this is a Swords to Plowshare magnet. It is getting a Swords out of an opponent's hand and onto a lowly 2-drop. And I think a 1-mana Swords hitting a 2-drop is where you'd rather be than hitting the 4-drop commander that's doing all the work for you.
Yeah, and what's really funny is I haven't won a game to poison damage. I really don't play with poison damage. If we want to get real about it, I think it's a cheap win. But what's really funny is when you do this, and there's how prolific Proliferate is in the game of Magic now. Even if that thing's blown up, and it's only done 2 poison to, let's say, 2 players, somebody is like, oh, well, I have Proliferate. You're becoming a problem. Oh, I have Tekuthal out also. I'm going to Proliferate twice. Now you have 4 poison on turn 5, That's where it kind of gets funny, and then I'm just sitting back knowing, like, yeah, I caused that. That's kind of the funny part of it.
Exactly. Yeah, gross card. Absolutely love it. Great choice. Next up, I want to talk about one of my favorite instants that I like to run in my white decks, and that's Surge of Salvation. It is a 1-drop instant, and it says you and permanents you control gain hexproof. Oh, and sorry, Jawbone Duelist is going for 8 cents. That's right, guys. You are breaking the bank with that one. 8 cents.
It hurts.
Yep. Surge of Salvation. It is a 1-drop instant, and it says you and permanents you control gain hexproof until end of turn. Prevent all damage that black and or red sources would deal to creatures you control this turn. I don't think I really necessarily have to explain it. It's great because A, it's just giving everything you have hexproof. So for 1 mana, for the rest of the turn, everything you control has hexproof. This is easily, I'll just go, it's a great protection spell. Hey, in response to you doing that, I'm going to give my whole board hexproof and save my one thing. It's also flexible in the sense that, think about it like this, guys. He begins his turn, he untaps, he upkeeps, he knows that he's going to have an aggressive play this turn. He casts Surge of Salvation in his upkeep. Basically, in my eyes, I see this. If somebody's trying to do that, I'm going to be like, oh snap, if I'm the blue player at the table, I'm going to go, oh, he's about to do something probably real gross. And they might throw out a counterspell to this card, just because they know that you might be trying to do something. More what I'm going with is you can push that aggression. You're able to perceive to your opponents that, like, hey, I'm about to go nuts on this turn, so I want to protect my stuff. And if you're good at fibbing, is what I'm basically about to go with, they might waste a counterspell on this, and then guess what? Now you can actually go to your turn, and then you can actually pop off. Or let's go with the other best example. They don't counter the spell. Now your whole board has protection for the rest of your turn. That doesn't inherently save anything that you cast into it, but if you're not casting anything for your turn and you're just going straight into combat, and say you're winning via like combat tricks, this is objectively the best thing that you could be doing on your turn. And then just realizing too that it's preventing damage from black or red sources. That's relevant in a game. I mean, any time that you could save damage coming into yourself, I think that that's just a great play. And it's also just understanding that it's sources would deal to creatures you control this turn. So it means that you can block those creatures and not feel bad about it in the slightest.
Yeah, and black and red are two of the most prevalent targeted removal colors, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So that's really key in it. It's also, and to go on what you were saying about like getting a counterspell out of somebody's hand, even better, getting a Fierce Guardianship out of somebody's hand. Mm-hmm. Because Fierce Guardianship is specifically non-creature. So like that's so key. Like if I'm trying to do something else, that I'm trying to cast more mana rocks, or I'm trying to cast my Legion Loyalty, spending 8 mana on something, I kind of want it to stay. So if I can bait somebody into countering that, great. If not, cool. Me and permanents have hexproof and protection from black and red.
Yeah. What's to lose here, guys? For 1 mana. That's the important thing. Remember, 1 mana is your high investment on this card. I think it's great. I think it's flexible. It's going for 46 cents. Great card, super powerful. It's going to do a lot for you guys.
I also, one of my play styles I really like is combat tricks. Whether it be combat tricks to protect myself, whether it be like a fog or something like that, or it's like, oh, you're not blocking. Hey, now instead of this 2 damage you're about to take, now I'm going to buff it. Now I'm going to give it double strike, like with other instances. Or that goes for all of my decks.
And then next up, I have chose the card Bond of Discipline. That's right. We need discipline to play this deck. It is 4 and a white for a sorcery. It says tap all creatures your opponents control. Period. Why do I say period? Because there's another line of text that says creatures you control gain lifelink until end of turn. This, your commander's giving everything lifelink already, guys. So, I know you're like, well, but doesn't the commander give lifelink to everything already? Yes, it does. You're correct, and you're not wrong in your assumptions. No, I'm just going to tap everything, and then I'm going to go bonkers. And then just realizing that, it's definitely just that 5 mana win con. And then the other important thing that I want to go back to as well, what if you don't have Odric? You don't have Odric. You can't give everything lifelink at the least. This is at least, hey, I'm going to give all my stuff lifelink, gain a life, gain a whole bunch of life. And even if it's 10 life, that's cushioning. That's like, hey, I'm going back up to comfortable levels. So I think it's flexible in the sense that, hey, this is giving you something that your opponents have to worry about, because then they're like, oh, snap, you're going from 10 life to potentially 30 life. And then also, this is another one of those cards that, it's going to force your opponent's hands. It's going to be like, okay, like they're about to go crazy. Do I have to counter this now? Do I need what do I do? And the answer is yes. You have to counter this spell or else you're going to get donked.
Yeah, there's one or two reasons why that spell is getting cast, and neither of them you will like. Another card I have in here is Sunblast Angel. If you guys aren't familiar, it is a creature that says destroy all tapped creatures. So if I'm in my first main, I haven't attacked yet, I cast that thing, and then I have the mana to cast Sunblast Angel as well. Well, now it's, if I don't win this turn, when it gets back to me and I can untap, I am winning next turn.
Yep. And for those of you, just for reference, that is a 4 white for a 4/5 with flying, and when it enters the battlefield, destroy all tapped creatures.
Yeah, there's also cards like Sunfall, was it Mother Machines, I think, or All Will Be One it came out with, that destroys all tapped creatures as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's all creatures.
Sunfall is exile all creatures, and then create
X incubator token.
Yep, correct, equal to the number of creatures exiled. Yeah, I think it's a great card. I think it's a great game ender. It really goes to show the amount of power that white can have in it. And it's just something simple as tapping all your opponent's creatures. And it's also just realizing too that it's non-targeting. So like they're not going to, like, if somebody casts a hexproof instant spell and then gets mad at you and says like, well, I gave it hex, you tell them it's non-targeting. It doesn't say target, so it gets around all that good jazz. And then my last card, I decided to go super simple, but I think it's also really important to talk about, is that Dustin chose to go with snow plains, snow-covered plains. Why do I think that that's important? I think it's important because it's giving Dustin a very specific land type, and I believe it's what is that card called that doubles your mana if you exile a land? It's from your hand. It is. Give us one moment here. I think it is. Do 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 do. Oh, just do this now. I might have to edit this out.
Extra planar lens.
Extra planar lens, guys. I knew that the whole time. You can just forget that I ever had that moment. If you have an extra planar lens, this is just, hey, I'm going to double up all my mana now in mono white. And that's an extremely powerful thing. And then also just anything that he plays that manipulates a certain type of land, he's able to reap that benefit by just playing snow-covered lands. And then also, guys, it's just flavor. You know, who's to say he didn't just play snow-covered plains because he wanted to be hipster and go against the grain? So that's just my big point out.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, Extra Planar Lens is a 3-mana artifact with imprint. When it comes into play, you may remove target land from you control from the game. Whenever a land with the same name as imprinted is tapped for mana, its controller adds 1 mana to his or her mana pool of any type that land produced. Yeah, honestly, I just had a bunch of snow-covered plains that I thought that kind of looked cool. They're from Strixhaven. I thought, cool, I'll throw these in. That was the only purpose of it. I think I had all of my other fancy full art lands and other stuff. So
yeah, by the way, guys, it wasn't on the list, but you can pick up an extra planar lens for $61.81.
Worth mentioning, not in the deck.
Yeah, it's not $61. It is a Kaladesh Inventions. I saw that and I was like, well, that's not right. No, you can pick it up for around $6 online. It's a very good card. And if you're looking to pick one up and you're looking for a beautiful one, the foil etched Commander Masters and the borderless one is to die for. Absolutely yes. Gorgeous card. Really, any of those foiled etched, always beautiful.
And a lot of the full art from Commander Masters, I think all of those are pretty beautiful.
Absolutely, yeah. Comment down in the comments if you like foiled etches or if you think that they're lame. And if you think they're lame, then give us a reason why.
Yeah, or tell us your favorite mono white card that you like putting in white decks. And also let us know, like, do you guys want us to post our deck list on Moxfield? Post deck list down in the description. We can do that. I might go ahead and do it for this one. See who likes it, and
Mm-hmm.
we can go from there. Ovid and I both have, I think combined, there's well over 20 decks we have together.
Yep.
Yeah,
Constantly tearing apart and making new decks.
yeah, yeah, guys. If you want to let us know on future content you'd like to see, or if you have other commanders that we can maybe look up on Moxfield, and we can just give you a rundown of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep, that's something that I been talking to Dustin about. I'd like to do. I recorded a mono blue deck review. Did not go well. Not because I'm stupid, but because technology is sometimes difficult. So yeah, we'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, then just go ahead and hit subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and hit a like. Um, yeah.
yeah. Comment, like, subscribe.
Yep. With that, guys, as always, I just want to say, hey, I love you. I hope you nothing but the best in life. If life is ever going difficult, just make sure that you remember that there are positive people out there, and we love you. We may not know you, but at the end of the day, dude, we're all just people, and we're just trying to get through in life. So, just with that, we just want to say we love you. We thank you for stopping in, and we hope you have a great day.
See you guys.